Okay, we are back at it again. It is the next day. Carb is still not on because I looked at prices on an Edelbrock rebuild kit. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start with this. Edelbrock rebuild kit, which consists of a bunch of fancy gaskets, right? You got your gasket that goes for the lid that comes across here. It's got a bunch of cuts, a bunch of different passages for your fuel. So you basically have two bowls, and your throttle bodies, not throttle bodies, but throttle valves, accelerator pump cutout. There's a good amount of cutting on this. However, here's the top. This is the gasket that's ripped. $55 for a rebuild for an Edelbrock. All I need at this juncture are, I'd like to replace these two booster pickups, and there's a gasket that goes in here. So I have one big flange gasket, 4 center gaskets, 5 gaskets, $55. No, not gonna happen. Yes, it does come with some extra parts in the kit. I think the Edelbrock one comes with maybe some needles. I don't even remember. If you go on the old Amazon and order some super high quality stuff directly from Jeff Bezos, you end up getting for $18 all of the gaskets. Might need to be trimmed. Fine, I don't mind. Just check fit them, make sure they actually work. But for $18 shipped, I was able to get, well, actually for $36 shipped because I ordered 2, so I don't run into this problem again. For $36, $20 less than what it cost me to get Edelbrock brand gaskets, I am getting 2 complete carb kits, floats, needles, floats included. Let me tell you, float included, which does not come in the Edelbrock kit. Floats, gaskets, accelerator pump, springs, clips, way more. And I'm not gonna lie, I was impatient. I was super excited to get this done today, but I got a dealer account through O'Reilly's. Not repping any particular brand, I like them. They work. I bought one for $55. Okay, so what do we got? We got an accelerator pump base gasket. We got all of the booster port gaskets. You get your upper carb gasket, air filter gasket, base plate gasket, the carb to the top of the carb gasket. You get all the fancy clips that everybody loses when they take them apart. 2 seats, 2 needles, and some other miscellaneous odds and ends. Check ball for the accelerator pump that people lose when they don't take them apart the right way. Accelerator pump. And a couple of vacuum nipples. $55. Really? Really? I mean, I guess if you're spending $600-700 on a brand new carb, that doesn't seem like that much money in the grand scheme of things. However, I'm a cheap bastard. I paid, let's go through it. This Edelbrock that is currently apart on this right now came from a running and driving car. I paid $100 for that one. The extra one that I left at the shop that I meant to bring home with me that I forgot to take and had to have my employee drop it off on his house because it is on his way. I don't even know where I put it. Paid $50 for the second one. Carter AFB. There are no, right here. $50 carb, and that works perfect. I know that. I had him run this over because I was going to steal the upper gasket out of this one to put into that one. $55 for gaskets? No, thank you. Tuning kit, $90 or $95? Fine. If I'm a cheap bastard and you hate me complaining about how much things cost, watch a different channel. However, I cannot pay $55 for one gasket that I actually need. 4 gaskets that I'm going to replace because it's already apart. Can't do it. On principle, I can't do it. So I got 2 super fancy gaskets coming from China. And gasket sets, rather. But they come with brand new floats. Not that the floats are bad on this. I don't have anything to worry about in that sense. I can't do it. I physically can't do it. It pains me. It hurts me deep down in my chest on how expensive that gasket set was. $30, maybe. $40, fine. $40 I will pay to have it that same day. Pay for name brand, right? And I can get the parts. I can fix it on the side of the road. If I have something go bad and I have to replace something on the inside of the car, which isn't at all that common, but if for some reason that happened and I'm running an Edelbrock or a Holly and I find the closest parts store that I can and end up doing a carb rebuild in a parking lot of whatever auto parts store, fine. I will pay extra for the name brand in that situation. This car's done. I just need to put the carb on and trim down the TV cable. Then it's running and driving. But $55 for 5 gaskets is astronomical. $10 a piece. I cannot justify, because everything else on that carb is working perfect. I know it's probably a clogged port in the idle passage when I took it apart. It revved up. It worked fine on the old motor. Somehow in between whatever old crappy gas was sitting in that float bowl, decided to sludge up something, and now my idle circuit is not working as well as it should. But I'm not paying $55 just for the upper. I only need the one gasket. Yes, I can order a specific Edelbrock upper carb gasket, but it's hard to get that the same day. So either way, that's the end of my rant. Parts are getting stupid expensive. Parts are getting worse and worse in quality. I'm not opposed to ordering cheaper hot rod knockoff crap, even if I order the gasket set from Amazon or whatever Chinese company is making it and selling it, that I will end up receiving tomorrow. Again, I'm less than 20. I ordered it super late last night before I went to bed, so just a 2-day shipping, whatever. It's going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to look at everything. It might work. It might not work. I don't really know. If it doesn't work, guess what? Most of the gasket bolt stuff might actually fit proper, and we will go from there. If I need to trim a gasket or two, that's still way better than the cost of trying to pay $55 for a couple gaskets that I don't need. I'm sorry, this is a 10-minute rant. This is way longer than I wanted it to be, but that pissed me off. The rear end, I started trying to figure out this on the Falcon. I had a buddy come by when he dropped off the carb. I made him bounce on the bumper. These springs are terrible, and the shackle geometry is horrendous. A lot of people are talking about the diagram or the chart for leaf spring stuff. I'm sitting at like 120, 110, 120, 30 degrees. I need help on the rear end. If anybody is a guru with Ford stuff or what the rear end should look like, I know I can bring the shackles up, which will give me more bend in the actual leaf spring. But this side, I just jacked it up and watched the shock itself. I don't know if I have a bad shock that just doesn't have any compression to it, because this does not move at all. It's sitting on a jack right now, but if I come over to this side where the tire's still touching the ground, even if I drop this down, this side will sink 3-4 inches. This side does not budge. I'm not a suspension guy. I'm not an expert in that in any regard. I like to think that I kind of know what I'm talking about sometimes with motors, suspension, tie rods. Obviously, that's the front end. But front end, back end of the car, does not matter. This is all brand new territory to me. Drive shaft angles, all the things that I probably messed up when I got everything made to work for this car. Probably terrible, probably way off. I'm okay with learning and having to redo things, and hey, I screwed that up royally. I won't do that again. But I don't know what's going on the rear end. I talked to somebody at work today. He mentioned that if I over tighten the shackle bolts and they don't have room to free pivot, that could be part of the issue. I loosened all of those up. There's no drag on the bolts that go through the shackles on the upper, the lower, or the front. So that should be okay. When I jack the car up by the rear end, though, I would like to see some suspension compression on that shock. prior to the car actually going up. I didn't get any of that, and maybe I'm completely wrong and that's just not supposed to happen that way. Either way, this car will be running and driving this weekend, one way or another. I'll do a couple hot laps around the neighborhood, piss off everybody in the neighborhood, since it is open shorty dumped headers. That's where we're at. Quick little update to keep going with the continuation of quick little updates that eventually will accumulate to a shakedown first maiden voyage rip around the neighborhood. Either way, I was hoping to have the carb done, put back together, and back in the car today. Didn't happen because I'm a cheap bastard. If I'm completely wrong in this regard, please let me know. When you're charging $400, $500, $600, I don't even know what a carb is. A brand new car. I've never looked for a brand new. I bought one. Paid $400 for the Summit 500 CFM carb that's currently on the truck, and I felt terrible, absolutely terrible about spending that kind of money. But I wanted something. That carb was supposed to go on the van. I stole it. That's fine. She got the flamethrower Pertronics distributor that should be in my truck right now, and the one that's in my truck needs to go in the van, and eventually that'll happen, but I promised I wouldn't mess with it until after this weekend. We're not taking that trip anymore, but I need to get this car done. That's where we're at. I apologize for the long-winded rant in the prices that built into whatever the previous recording of this video was, but I was hoping to do a test drive video today. I can't do that because $55 for a couple pieces of paper that are stamped. Not gonna happen. Good luck. Mind your parts. Pay attention to your stuff. I was just watching a video on DD Speed Shop today. If nobody follows that channel, give them a view real quick. But he just posted a video last night or day before. I don't even remember. Everything's blurs together now. But he posted a video on his big block Biscayne wiping cam lifters. Exact same situation that I just had on this. I did not spend as much money as he did on the cam or the lifters. I went with the budget version, but I went with a budget version because I was worried about the exact same problems that he just ran into. Initial startup break-in worked awesome. Watch the video. Let me know if you can hear any lifter ticks or any overt noises. It sounded okay for what it was when I did the break-in. Third start later, it started doing the tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, fingers crossed, hoping it was okay. It was not. That's where we're at. Watch that video. Check everything you're doing. Triple, double, quadruple. Send it out to get looked at by somebody else if they know better than you or you don't know what you're looking at. I thought I had a pretty good idea in my head of what I was looking for, and was also kind of naive, just like he was, about this all working. And everybody can complain about problems, but they wouldn't keep selling things that are not going to work in most situations. I was wrong. I had to swap a motor. We'll see what he does down the line, but that's where we're at. Couple suspension things to figure out. Waiting on carb gasket rebuild. Carb will go back together. That can go on. Once I get the carb and the throttle cable bracket back on the car in here, then I can adjust the TV cable. I do have the pressure gauge I still need to hook up. All of that will happen in the course of this upcoming weekend. 100% the goal is to have this at least running, driving around the block. More than likely, this is going to go to my shop 5 minutes away from here. And I will spend most of Monday trying to figure out the actual exhaust so I can get a real exhaust on here so it's not little shorty dumps, and fix the butchery that I did on the cross member to get it to my shop. So stay tuned. That's what's coming down the line. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of those fun things. Have a good one.